What is going on, everyone? My name is Firebrand and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to the last of the ranking every ARs in COD history list from Chaos. This is going to be parts 4 and 5. I did parts 1 through 3 yesterday. I couldn't find part 4 and 5 for some reason. They weren't on the same playlist or on the recommended or something like that. But anyway, that doesn't matter now. We have the last two parts right here. I have them in a private playlist. I'm probably just going to delete the playlist after this. But let's get right on to this. Let's go.
Really quick, Team Chaos, link at the top of the description. My boys, the Nemo brothers, have launched a battle royale.
Where's the first one? Right here, maybe?
To 25, and then the finale will be the top 25 in history. Thank you for all the love and support on these mega ranking series. Let me know what you would like to see next after we get to
right
assault
here.
rifles. Viable upper tier stuff now. Modern Warfare 2019 CR56 AMAX.
Okay.
Now, you've surely been seeing a lot of this gun and...
Also, this is one of my videos this is one of my reactions, so expect a lot of pauses. When the AMX dropped, and I think it was season 4, I want to say. It was either 4 or 5, it was one of those two. I unlocked it, but I was never the biggest fan of it. It just felt like a weirder handling AK to me. It had a little more recoil, I think. The fire rate is faster. I think it hit just as hard, if not a little bit less or a little bit more than the AK. It just felt like a faster handling AK with a faster fire rate, but for some reason I was just never the biggest fan of it, and I'm still not the biggest fan of it to this day. Yeah, I just was never the biggest fan of the AMAX.
Warzone, but what about multiplayer? Ground rules, guys. We're going with multiplayer, and we're going the current state of the gun, not at launch, okay? Still pretty good. Solid slow firing, but hard-hitting assault rifle that's pretty easy to control and not hard to kit. I've said a couple times in videos before that
I will use this thing with the, I think it's the intruder barrel. I think is what it's called, the 8.5-inch barrel. But other than that, I really don't like this gun that much. I don't know why.
the CR56 is basically just a better version of the AK-47.
I disagree with that one.
By that, it's everything the Modern Warfare AK should have been. I'm sorry, I had to.
The Modern Warfare AK would have been a bit better if it had a bit less recoil and a bit of a higher fire rate. Like, another like 10-20 rounds per minute, I feel like would have been amazing.
Also, guys, do me a favor. Join the Team Chaos Discord. We are on our way to 4,000 members over there. People talking every day, new friendships made. We talk about Call of Duty. We talk about gaming. We talk about everything. And I try to be in there almost every single day. The link is at the top of the description. At number 49, the Black Ops 3 FFAR.
This thing melted. I have this, and it melted.
And it was pretty fun to mess around with when it was first added to supply drops. Overall, it's a good gun. If you use the Black Ops 1 FAMAS, you're probably going to feel right at home, although Treyarch obviously had to...
This thing wasn't nearly as good as the Black Ops 1, like he's about to say. It wasn't nearly as good as the Black Ops 1 FAMAS, but this thing was still pretty dang good. I have this on my account, and I use this quite a bit.
Rebalance the damage for Black Ops 3 so it wouldn't be completely broken. The FFAR is a great assault rifle. Close, mid-range, it's a monster. If you can handle the recoil, it's solid. At number 48 today, the Modern Warfare 2019 Ffar 556.
I disagree with this one completely. I don't like the FAMAS in Modern Warfare whatsoever. It looks cool, but no, it doesn't really even look cool. It's the one variant of it that looks cool. It's the I don't know which variant of it was, but I don't like the FAMAS in this game at all.
People hate this gun in Warzone, and that often makes them overlook the multiplayer version, which is actually good. Total melt machine in multiplayer.
It sucks in both.
Decreased health, closer engagements, recipe for success. At mid-range, it's strong. The time to kill is one of the best in the entire game. At close range, it struggles. At long range, a little inconsistent, but in the mid-range sweet spot, the Ffar 556 is really good. It's worth another look if you put it down. At number 47, the Black Ops 3.
The M14 and Black Ops 3 absolutely melted. I have this. I pulled on like the last day in supply drops, and this thing absolutely melted. If you have a really good trigger finger, this thing is one of the best guns in the game, if not the best gun in the game. I don't think it has a fire rate cap on it either. This is one of the guns in that game that doesn't have a fire rate cap on it, so you can spam it as hard as you can. Or as fast as you can, I should say.
Now, BO3 is one of the only COD games that didn't launch with a proper semi-auto rifle, aside from, I guess you could say, the Shiva. But even then, it wasn't really a conventional semi-auto.
And the Shiva sucked.
In June of 2018, almost 3 years after BO3 launched, Treyarch added the M14 to supply drops, and it was good. It was a consistent 2-shot kill and had a much higher fire rate cap than the other semi-autos in the game, which made that time to kill.
Yeah, the M14 beats the crap out of the Shiva. I hate the Shiva with a passion. Always have, always will.
Good. Recoil was a little high, but for a jetpack semi-auto rifle, it was pretty good. At number, how many times did I say good there? At number 46, the Modern Warfare 3 G36C. The main competitor, the infamous...
The G3, the ACR 6.8, and the, what was it? There was another AR in that game that I used, like, a lot. Yeah, CM901, that's what it was. The ACR, the G3, and then the CM901. I used all the time. I loved all three of those guns. I still want like a remastered CM901 and like a newer COD. I feel like that'd be so nice. It really should have shown up in Modern Warfare, but you know, whatever.
Miss ACR in Modern Warfare 3 wasn't nearly as popular, but it was good.
No, it wasn't. I barely saw this thing online like at all.
Running it, a lot of people ran it though. It was slightly higher fire rate than the ACR, but in exchange, slightly lower damage.
I never saw on the
PS3.
PS3.
Good. The recoil was pretty easy to manage, and to top it all off, this rifle had one of my favorite reload animations in COD history.
The G3 reload animation was probably one of the coolest ones from Modern Warfare 3.
It was just a really, really solid gun, and
Yeah.
I hope we get the G36C back in COD sometime in the future. I know it was a hidden gun in the Modern Warfare 2019, but that's not the same. Bring back the G36C.
Mm-hmm.
At number 45 today, the Modern Warfare 2 AK.
You know, honestly, I probably used this thing twice, and out of those 2 times, I never could get the hang of it. I was never the biggest fan of the Modern Warfare 2 AK. I didn't like how it looked, I didn't like how it sounded, I didn't like the iron sights, I didn't like the recoil, I just didn't like it.
47. Probably one of the
I know it hit I know it hit harder than a freight train, but I just could never get the hang of this thing.
most forgotten AKs. I've said
Yeah,
it a couple
I'd agree with
times.
that.
It was a tad underwhelming, and I think it's the case, but it's not bad. It's actually quite the opposite. It was the last rifle you unlocked. It had some pretty impressive power if you could control that recoil. It killed in 2 to 3 bullets most of the time, and the reload was very quick. Now, the recoil was the issue, but at close to mid-range, that time to kill was fantastic, and it didn't kick too much. So you could track with it. I like the gun. We have to be fair, but I think this is a fair spot.
Never was a fan of this
At
gun.
number 44, the Black Ops Cold War
The XM4 is the commando of Black Ops Cold War.
XM4. Now, to quote my good friend Drifter, the XM4 doesn't do any one thing super amazingly, but it does practically everything above average, making it the most versatile gun in COD history, one of the most versatile. It's not a crazy melt machine or anything, game breaking like that, but the XM4 can be kitted out for pretty much any situation. Close range, long range, stealth aggression, the XM4 can get it done. Yes, it's not...
I have like 3 or 4 variants of this thing on my account that have the carry handle in it. I don't know what it is about M4s with carry handles, but I have a thing for them in Call of Duty. Like if an M4 doesn't have a carry handle, like for instance the Modern Warfare M4A1, technically that's a Mark 18, but we won't get into that right now. But any M4 that has a carry handle on it, I'm like, okay, nope, get that in my inventory right now. I don't know why, but I just love the look of the carry handle. I know it like makes the sights even worse than what they normally are, but I just like I don't know why. Always have.
It's not going to be
And I think part of the reason is because of Black Ops 1 and the M16 in that game. I don't know what it was, but I love the carry handle of the M16, and it kind of annoys, and it legitimately annoys me when no game, like what Modern Warfare 2007 did with the M4. I don't know why, but it annoys me when there's an M4 in a COD game without the carry handle. I don't know why that annoys me, but it does.
a top tier 1 category, but it's so practical across the board, that's why I got such a high spot. At number 43.
Whoa, wait, what?
Rampart
Hold up. What site is that? I have a couple of variants of the Rampart on my account. What site is that? I've never seen that site before. That's not the Elo site. I know what the Elo site looks like on the Scar in that game. The Rampart's a Scar. What site is that? I've never seen that. Is that a variant? It's gotta be a variant.
17. Essentially another Scar H, and a lot of people loved it for that. Slower fire rate, heftier
Yeah, that looks like a
recoil,
variant.
way better damage. If you aimed high
Is that a Mark II?
shots, it was one of the best time to kill in
No,
all
it don't have the Mark II camo. What site is that? It looks sick. I've never seen that site.
It wasn't easy to use effectively.
I might have to redownload Black Ops
Potential was
4
there. A lot of
and
people made it
investigate
work
that.
because they got good. At number 42.
But yeah, no, for those of you that have been on my channel for about the past, I think 4 years now it's been up, I have a disgusting gameplay of the Scar on firing range on Black Ops 4.
The Black Ops 3 ICR-1. This was the resident laser
Firing
bullet
range was in
of
Black
the
Ops
3.
3?
Reminded me a lot
Wait, what?
of the M27, which was probably intentional because it even had the same awesome reload animation. The ICR-1 had a moderate rate of fire, somewhat low damage, but almost no recoil to speak of, which made it super easy to laser people across the map, and in hardcore modes, you already know. Even in normal core modes, it was viable because of how easy it was to use, and yes, the damage was low. Fire rate was high enough, though, to keep that time to kill competitive. It was a fan favorite weapon. It was made even better in Black Ops 4, although we'll talk about that one soon. At number 41 today,
I still say Black Ops 4 should have had advanced movement.
the Cod Ghost Ak-12, one of the most underrated rifles in Ghost. It fired at 700 rounds per minute, killed in 2 to 4 bullets, made it one of the strongest guns in the game. So why was it underrated, you may ask? Well, a lot of people passed on it because of the recoil.
That was the reason I passed on this thing, actually. My two main ARs in Ghost were the Honey Badger and the R5. I had a good amount of kills on the R5, and I had over 1,000 on the Honey Badger. Never could get the hang of the AK, though. I don't know why.
It wasn't
Just
actually
couldn't.
that heavy, but it was awkward directional recoil. It made it difficult to use at range.
Yeah.
But if you could get the recoil pattern down, you could dominate with the gun. You could. At number 40, the Cod 4G3. I think this is one of the most underrated.
I think this is the G3 that didn't have a fire rate cap. I think in Modern Warfare Remastered it had a fire rate cap, but I'm gonna disconnect my mouse here for a second. If you could click it that fast, that's how fast that thing would fire. I don't think this one had the fire rate cap on it. I think this is that one that didn't have it, but it got overshadowed by like everything else though. It was really underrated. The G3 is still one of my favorite guns in COD 4. Like to this day, I love that gun.
Semi-auto guns in COD history. It could drop enemies with 2 bullets. You heard me right, 2 bullets, no recoil, no fire rate cap. You could span it.
I think you could also one-shot headshot someone if you had some power on this thing, but don't quote me on that. I think you could. I could be wrong though. This thing was a monster.
As hard as you wanted to without losing any power or control. So why wasn't it more popular? Well, COD 4 was a fast-paced game. A lot of people didn't want to use a semi-auto weapon, but it was still a great gun. At number 39, the Black Ops 1 M16. This is one of my favorite M16s in COD history, and it was the version of your starting assault rifle. It wasn't quite as good as a lot of people remember, but it was powerful. The M16 fired rather quickly. It killed in 3
This gun is probably why I like carrying handle so much on M16s and M4s.
bullets up close and 4 bullets at range.
I also still think this thing should have been fully out on multiplayer, but that's just my opinion. I've always hated 3 burst M16s. I don't know why.
Once you hit a certain point, you would have to fire at least 2 bursts to drop someone, and that's where you got in trouble. I like the gun. I think it was super fun to use, but we're trying to be as honest as we can with these ranking videos.
Also, gold camo on the M16 looked freaking beautiful. Black Ops 1 had the best gold camo of any COD.
38. The Modern Warfare 2 FAL. This gun was way better than people realized. Ah, man. Semi-auto monster, no recoil, no fire rate cap, killed in 2 bullets from most ranges with stopping power. Now, yes, the reload animation was a little long. You have to remember, it wasn't going to be as good as a full auto weapon in a game like Modern Warfare 2. It was a beast, though. Make sure you have a good trigger finger. I mean, in a game this fast-paced, you really had to be good with it to make it work. At number 37. The Black Ops Cold War AK-47. This thing had so much potential.
This was one of the most overpowered guns in the game. If you there was a certain loadout for it. I know it had the VDV barrel on it, but other than that, I have no clue what it had. This thing literally had a 0 recoil at all. This thing was a monster if you had that set up on. I know it had the VDV barrel, and I think it had the KGB eliminator on it. I think. But other than that, I don't remember what it had on it. But this thing was a complete melt machine if you kitted it out right. This thing was amazing. Although it's one of the worst sounding AKs in COD history. This thing sounded like marshmallows. I hated the sound of this thing so much. It didn't sound like an AK.
Actually had a gentleman's agreement to not use it in tournaments.
Really? I didn't know that. It makes sense though. Because of how powerful it was.
This time around, you had the gunsmith. Yep, you could make the handling and recoil even better. The Cold War AK is pretty nuts, and I'd be shocked if it's not nerfed soon. At number 30.
This was made about like 3 months ago. I still don't think the AK has been nerfed.
36 today. The Modern Warfare Remastered boss.
Now you want to talk about an overpowered weapon? Oh, I remember the day this thing launched on WR. Everyone that could get it was running the Boss 14. Frickin' Jesus Christ! I'll never forget that day. The DLC weapons were one of the reasons I quit playing MWR multiplayer so early on. But yeah, no, this thing was a melt machine. I think you could 2-shot headshot someone at close range with a stopping power on. I think at least.
Boss 14. When it was added, the community was pissed. Not only was it another DLC rifle being added to Modern Warfare Remastered, but this It was strong. Heck, it's still strong today. The fire rate was fantastic. The damage was high, and the recoil was a little bouncy, but if you controlled it, it was game on. I'm still not happy about
two-shot right there.
DLC weapons being added to MW3,
Neither am I.
but here it is. At number 35 today, the Black Ops 4 IC.
I hated this gun so much. I still hate this gun. I don't know why I couldn't use it. I know it had literally no recoil if you have both grips on it, but I just could not. I couldn't use it. I don't know why. I hated the sound. I hated the sights. I hated everything about this thing.
Perhaps the easiest gun in COD history to control. Had a moderate fire rate, decent damage, 0 recoil. By default, the recoil is none. If you put on grip attachments, you would literally have negative none, if that's even a thing. It's a laser beam. Obviously, the accuracy is balanced out with a slow time to kill, but it didn't matter. At number 34 today.
There's my gun. There's the
Cod
R5.
Ghost Remington R5. Woo, what a gun. It wasn't
Love
as
this
good
thing.
and popular as some of the other guns in Ghost, but man, people...
I probably had at least 1,000 kills with this thing. I loved the R5 so much. I still love that thing. Amazing sound, amazing look of the gun. I love the sights. Yeah. Had a bit bouncy recoil, but I mean, I could control this one. This one I could control. I still wish we can get an R5 in like Modern Warfare or the next modern day Call of Duty. God, that'd be so cool.
People, they got work done. 631 rounds per minute, a bit on the slow side, but it hit like a
Look at
freaking
those
Mack
sights.
truck. It dealt 48 base damage for 40 meters, meaning it was a 2-shot kill as long as you hit 1 headshot. And any full auto gun that can 2-tap from that distance, yeah. It's also very easy to control, which is odd. Usually a gun that hits that hard will have some hefty recoil, but the Remington was smooth. I love the gun. It was probably the second most used rifle in COD Ghost after the Honey Badger. At number 33, the Black Ops 3 KN-44. Despite being the first rifle you grabbed...
Look at that gross camo. I think it was Carl's Jr. that had a camo thing where you could get like a takeout camo or a takeaway camo or something like that. That's that camo right there. I'm glad I don't have that camo.
It was a beast. Super versatile. I mean, deceptively good range. It was consistent. Killed in 3 to 4.
Also, one of the few Call of Duty weapons that has actually been name changed from the beta, if I'm not mistaken. Beta's thing was the ARC-7, and then full game was KN-44. I don't know why they changed the name on it, or like licensing maybe, or something like that. I don't know, but yeah. It was the ARC-7, now it's the KN-44.
4 bullets. It wasn't going to outgun any of the SMGs at close.
Technically, it could. If you put rapid fire in this thing, and I think it was rapid fire in, I think, long barrel, or no, it was rapid fire in high cal. If you aimed high with high cal and had rapid fire in this thing, you'd outgun some SMGs at close range. You could. I've done it before.
Range, but at mid to long, it was one of the best automatic weapons in the game. It was consistent. Plus the fact you got it at level 1, people. At number 32, the Modern Warfare.
This thing was what you get if you cross the Modern Warfare 2 FAL with the Man of War. This thing hit like a freaking freight train, and this one legitimately made people mad. I remember this. They said they were gonna put DLC weapons in Modern Warfare Remastered. Then, like 2 or 3 months later, boop, there's the XMLR. Still don't have it. Insanely strong. I think this thing could also 2-tap at specific ranges if with stopping power on.
Remastered XMLR. This was the first DLC rifle added to Modern Warfare Remaster. When it came out, it caused a bit of a stir. It was a tad bit too good. Full auto rifle, super low recoil, 2-shot killing power, stopping power, and I know COD 4 had a fast time to kill, but the XM, probably a little too much, overpowered maybe, maybe not, I don't know, spammy and annoying, absolutely, yeah. At number 31, the COD 4.
My favorite M4 in COD history.
M4 Carbine, the original M4 in COD history. It was a laser beam. It was a tad on the weak side in terms of bullet damage, but that fire rate was there, and the recoil, well, there's none to talk about. It was versatile. It wasn't statistically amazing or anything like that, but a lot of people loved it for its easy handling and melty potential if you hit your shots, which was not hard to do. At number 30, the COD World War
The sweaty tryhard gun. I don't need to say anymore.
II STG 44. This gun was spammed to the point the community started calling it the sweaty tryhard gun 44. Seriously, compared to other guns in COD World War II, it just felt like a more traditional COD gun. Fast.
I hate this thing so much. I hate when it's used against me, but when I use it, I absolutely annihilate it. I freaking hate this. I love to hate it and hate to love it.
Arguably the best STG we've ever got. I'll let you guys decide. It's very
World
likely
Wars are
we'll
better.
be seeing this gun again later in this year at COD 2021, so we'll see what Sledgehammer does. At number 29 today, the Modern Warfare 2019 M13. This is one of my favorite Modern Warfare weapons. Low damage, but extremely fast-firing assault rifle. It really gets work done. It's a stealth weapon.
This is like an SMG and an AR crossed. If you put the Oh, I can't think of the name of it. The short barrel on it with the skeleton stock and the stipple tape. This thing was legitimately an SMG that had the power of an AR. This was pretty much like a peacekeeper, but like in Modern Warfare. This thing, I love this thing. I still have a my top loadout on Warzone is still the short stuff, M13 with I think it's compensator, short barrel, hollow, short stock, and stipple. I think. No, it's a 60 round max. That's what it is.
Nice middle of the ground or road
Love this
ground,
thing.
whatever, between an assault rifle and an SMG. It was easy to control, and yes, you probably get a few more hit markers than other guns on this list, but the fire rate and the damage multipliers, it got it done. At number 28 today,
I hate this thing.
the Modern Warfare 2019 Ram 7. Very similar to the M13.
Could never use
Here
it.
they are together. Fire rates are almost nearly identical, and while the Ram kicks a little more, it also hits harder, which gave it a better time to kill if you were willing to put in the work with the recoil pattern. If you could get the handling down, it was fantastic for an AR at close range, even mid-range. I mean, if you aim high, I love the gun since it was first added to the game, and I'm happy that we're giving it appreciation. At number 27 today, the Infinite Warfare Osa. The OS.
The OSA was I think the OSA was the ARCs in this game. I never used this thing, but it was used against me a good amount of times, and this thing was insanely powerful.
Now, this gun was actually banned from competitive play.
Really?
How insanely fast it killed. Classic
Did
weapon.
not know that.
Built-in nuke
Interesting.
too, although nobody used that because it was crap.
Yeah, the grenade launchers in Infinite Warfare were horrible. They were absolute hot garbage.
Thankfully, instead, people took advantage of the great fire rate and the solid damage, which gave it one of the best time to kills in IW. I believe it was nerfed once or twice, and it was banned entirely from competitive play. If you were playing back in the day, you probably remember the Osa.
I sort of remember this thing. I did play in Infinite. I was a Christmas noob in Infinite Warfare, but I do remember this thing getting used against me a good amount, and this thing was really powerful.
And the final gun today, at number 26, the Black Ops 1
Jesus, this thing was
G11.
powerful.
One of the most underrated burst guns
Yeah,
in COD history.
100%.
Was an experimental rifle that had some of the best time to kill values in the game, although it didn't get used much because it was hard to unlock and it was just awkward. It would kill in 3 bullets from stupid ranges. The burst was firing at over 1,200 rounds per minute, which is just dumb, and the default mag size was 48 rounds. It was way better than some people realized back in the day, and it may be a tad controversial to rank it this high, but I'm doing it. There you have it, my friends. Next.
The G11 was one of the best burst guns in Black Ops 1. I didn't actually have it unlocked. I'm just going off what I know from picking it up a bunch. This thing was amazing. And it had a stupid fast time to kill. Oh my Christ, that thing melted. Alright, let's move on to part 2.
Before we cap off this 127 assault rifle, Infinite Warfare.
Hey, K-Bar.
K-Bar.
This was my MV4. I was never a fan of the MV4. I don't know whether it's because it was overrated. At least, it's in my opinion, it's overrated. Or just the fact that I don't know what it was, but something about the K-Bar just handled better than me than the MV4.
R32. Second most used assault rifle in IW, I do believe. It's fast firing
Probably.
rifle, moderate damage, some recoil, but you had to get used to it. Doesn't matter. You can stay on target. It was beastly. It was definitely one of the best guns for competitive play.
I love this
It
thing.
wasn't spammed quite as hard as the MV4 due to the heftier recoil.
I still think this thing should have been picked more than the, what's it called? Excuse me, the NV4. I feel like the NV4 was really overrated.
But it was a fantastic choice and one of the most used in the game. Everything from this point on is just legacy. At number 24, the Black Ops 3 M8A7. This was also one of the most used guns in the game for competitive play. It was a slightly reworked version of the fan favorite M8A1 from Black Ops 2.
This thing was a 4-burst kill. I think there was a 4-shot kill out to a certain range. It had a stupid range on it, though, for the 4-burst kill.
Fired just ever so slower than its older brother.
Also, I don't know why the video keeps, like, skipping every time I pause sometimes. I don't know why it does that, but it does.
It kicked a lot less, though. The damage was slightly reworked, so you still required to be accurate with the gun, but it was capable of a 1-burst kill. It was definitely a step backwards from the original, but that doesn't mean it was bad at all.
I didn't like the M8A1. This was a step up from it. Was never a fan of the M8.
At number 23, this
I love
may be
the
a hot
AUG.
take. I don't care.
I'll take the AUG any day over the FAMAS. I was never a fan of the Black Ops 1 FAMAS, and I don't know why, but the AUG was one of my favorite guns in the game.
Black Ops 1 AUG.
I love the way it
was meant to
sounded.
be the rival gun to the FAMAS, but most people will tell you the AUG was the weaker of the two. In terms of fire rate and time to kill, it was actually identical to the FAMAS, but the recoil pattern was more side to side, whereas the FAMAS was vertical. So if you spent any time playing COD, you know. Side-to-side recoil patterns are the worst thing ever, so even though the AUG had some great time to kill, it was getting a lower spot just because of that recoil. It wasn't as easy to take advantage of. At number 22, the Black Ops 2 M27, one of my favorite guns
Same
ever.
with me. This was when I couldn't really control recoil all that well. My aim still wasn't the best, and I had to use like lower recoil things with like faster time to kill stuff. M27 was pretty much one of the only guns I used when I got it.
It had that trademark low damage, but super low recoil.
I think this was the first thing I actually unlocked with my prestige token. I think it was either this or the what was it? It was either this or the like the vector or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was either this or the vector for one of my first unlocks, prestige token.
It was one of those guns that was just good all around. Fire rate was good, damage was decent, recoil was non-existent, made it a perfect gun for lasering people across the map. Plus, the fire rate made it strong enough to challenge people at close range, so you didn't have to worry about people rushing you. It was excellent. It was one of the smoothest guns in COD history. At number 21, the Ghost Honey Badger.
My favorite gun in Ghost, and I wish we got a like a true Honey Badger like in modern day COD. I know the leaks CQBR or whatever that thing was called in the was in Modern Warfare Remastered as a DLC gun. And then you had the M13 and Keel, which could be technically kitted out as like an M13 or as a Honey Badger, but like I want a true like AAC Honey Badger in Call of Duty, like it was in Ghosts. And yes, I know it was in Modern Warfare as the CQBR or whatever it was called, but and you could make a Honey Badger by putting the suppressor on it. That doesn't count to me.
Easily the most popular rifle in the game.
I love
it was
this
a lot
thing.
of people's favorite, part of Ghost altogether. Suppressed assault rifle. Great for aggressive and keeping off the radar. The damage was a little inconsistent. It killed anywhere from 2 bullets to 5, but the high rate of fire and easy recoil, check mark. I mean, it was super good. It was. A lot of people ran it exclusively. Do I think it was top tier compared to every other COD rifle? No. Was it high tier? Absolutely. At number 20, the Black Ops 1 AK-47. A lot of people, including myself, cite this as their favorite AK in COD
This is my
history.
favorite AK.
Yep. I mean, it fired at 750
Modern Warfare 2007 is a close second though.
rounds per minute, one of the fastest AKs in COD. It killed in 3 to 4 bullets consistently. Now, when compared to other Black Ops 1 assault rifles, it was identical in time to kill, but the recoil pattern, and it was vertical, and it didn't kick a lot. So you aim chest, and it went all the way through the head. And running this gun with a suppressor sounded awesome, so that's a bonus. At number 19, the Black Ops 1 Commando. Almost identical to the AK.
The Commando's pretty much Black Ops 1's XM4. This thing was really, really, really good. Although I did prefer the AK over this thing.
In terms of fire rate and time to kill, but it gets a slight edge because of the handling. The Commando handled a tad faster than the AK while still keeping those great damage stats, which made it a little more versatile. Some people preferred the vertical recoil pattern of the AK, but a lot of people preferred the faster handling of the Commando, and I think it's just barely a better gun. At number 18 today, the Modern Warfare Remastered
There it is.
CQ.
Lynx CQ3000. Okay, so it wasn't Lynx. It was Lynx CQ3000. Okay, yeah. This was the Honey Badger Modern Warfare Remastered.
300. It was a remake of the fan favorite Honey Badger. Some say it was better. The Lynx had an amazing time to kill.
Depends on the range, but this thing normally... I didn't have this thing on my account. But it's a pretty dang close game between the Lynx and the Honey Badger.
Recoil was really easy to control. It did not have that built-in suppressor like the Badger, but it had a noticeably faster
But if you look at the little kill feed thing, it has the suppressor on the kill feed thing, so...
time to kill. It was more than capable of keeping up with other rifles in COD 4, right? Well, Modern Warfare Remastered. In a little bonus, you got a really cool reload animation. At number 17, the Infinite Warfare NV.
I know why it's on here, but I don't agree with the spot on it. It's on here because it was really easy to control, had a good fire rate, good damage, and like it was just all around a really, really, really good gun. I was never a fan of the NV4 though. My gun was the K-bar, and I think this is the variant. Yeah, this is the flatline. This is the one that had no damage drop off. I think is what this one was. It was a slightly lower rate of fire by I don't know how much for a like an infinite damage range. So it was like always a 3-shot kill. I still completely disagree with stat changing variants in Infinite Warfare. By the way, one of the worst things in the game.
4. Easily one of the most spammed guns in COD history. It was a futuristic M4A1, but with slightly slower fire rates and practically no recoil. It was also the first gun you got your hands on. In terms of stats and time to kill, it wasn't special, but it was so easy to use. It was by far the most used gun in the game. At number 16, The Advanced
Steed.
Warfare BAL 27.
If you ask anyone what the most overpowered gun variant was in Advanced Warfare, they're probably gonna say either the Steed, the AK-12, RIP, the Speakeasy, or the Inferno. All four of those were like top tier. I still never got the Obsidian Steed or any of those others. I only had the Inferno, but yeah, this thing hit like a freaking freight train with the Obsidian Steed variant of it.
Yep. If it was, we wouldn't get started. First gun you get your hands on, far and away the best in the gun. Come on, our game, even after multiple nerfs.
This was pretty much a P90 with like a higher fire rate and better damage. This was literally like the P90 if the P90 was an AR.
Fast, reliable, consistent, versatile. It was too good. We all know it. The variants just made it even better. There's a reason people called this game Battle of Duty, and I'm scratching my head as to why Sledgehammer never nerfed it further than they did.
They nerfed it?
You can go boot up AW right now, and everybody's using a BAL.
If you can find a game on AW that is, though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's dead.
At number 15, the Black Ops 2 AN-94.
The best AN-94.
Here it is. One of the last guns you unlocked in Black Ops 2, and it was worth the wait. It was a final unlock, and that's how it's supposed to be. It's the best. Same time to kill, handling speed solid, no recoil, lots of attachments. It was awesome, and it sounded awesome in the reloads. Everything was awesome about it. The AN-94 is awesome. At number 14, hot take, Modern Warfare 2 Scar H. Everybody likes a Scar. A lot of people...
This is my second favorite Scar in COD history. Third is definitely the Scar L from Modern Warfare 3. This is my second favorite, and then Scar H from Black Ops 2, which, by the way, we haven't seen yet, so I wonder where place it's going to be. But I love this thing. Some of the cleanest sights in COD history, if not the cleanest. And one of the best firing sounds. The only thing I kind of screwed it over was the reload and the ammo capacity. I think it was like a 20-round mag on this thing. It was either 20 or 25. And then it had a somewhat longer reload for an AR. But this thing was still really, really good.
Modern Warfare 2 version was the best we ever got. The magazine was small, so I'll have to knock a few points off, but the iron sights, the recoil pattern, the fire rate, the sheer power, check marks. It was a little frustrating that in Modern Warfare 2, Scavenger and Sleight of Hand were in the same perk category, so if you...
I feel like if they had Scavenger and Sleight of Hand in the in different categories, then the Scar H would have honestly been one of the most overpowered guns in the game.
If you were going to use the Scar, you were stuck with a slow reload, or you were constantly running out of ammo, but it was statistically a great gun. At number 13... the Black Ops 4 Maddox Rfb, one of the most spammed guns in that game. Very versatile bullpup assault rifle with some of the best time to kill values in the entire game. Easy to control, super versatile, one of the go-to weapons for competitive play and pub stomping. I don't think many people are going to argue with me on this one. I say it was the best AR in Black Ops 4. At number 12.
I wouldn't say it was the best AR in Black Ops 4, but it was definitely top tier. I personally would rank the Rampart above the Maddox just because of its damage and the iron sights. I don't like the Maddox's iron sights whatsoever. They were some of the worst iron sights in my opinion in the game. And then I didn't like the operator mod. I still don't get the whole Echo Fire operator mod. Never. I think it was like a 2-round burst or something. I never understood it.
The COD 4 AK-47. Now, you can debate back and forth which was better, the Black Ops 1 or COD 4. This one was powerful. Killed in 2 bullets, with stopping power. Recoil, all vertical just like the Black Ops 1 version, made it easier to control. It did have a few weird quirks with the attachments that made certain ones less helpful than they should have been, but it was really, really good. At number 11, I'm trying to be fair here.
This Galil is my favorite Galil in COD history. I love the sights. I love the firing sound. The reload is a tad bit long for my taste, but I still love it. The only thing I did not like about this thing was the firing sound. It just sounded like a wet seal. And don't ask me, do not ask. I don't know where I get that from, but it just sounds like a wet seal to me. A wet metallic seal. I don't know why. But yeah, other than the firing sound, I loved this thing.
The Black Ops 1 Galil. I loved it, and a lot of people did as well. Solid fire rate, fantastic damage, but what made it better than other assault rifles in Black Ops 1 was the handling. Recoil, easy to control, handling was snappy, and it had one of the biggest default mags in the game. It's one of my favorite guns in COD history. I think it deserves a spot up here. I know I'm probably biased, but I think some of you will defend me on this. At number 10, the Black Ops 3 M16.
I forgot the M16 was in Black Ops 3.
This one is actually, well, it has one of the best time to kills in COD history. I'm serious.
Doesn't surprise
in
me.
terms of handling and appearance, it's pretty close to the Black Ops 1 version, but the damage and the range was cranked up. It could one-burst people from any distance in BO3, and the recoil it's not there. Most burst weapons in COD.
I've seen this thing maybe twice online. This is not a very common gun at all, but it hits like a friggin' freight train, and I'm not going to go back on Black Ops 3 and spend however many hundreds of bucks on supply drops to get this thing. Not happening.
Struggle at long range, but this one, It shined. It did. If you were lucky enough to get it out of a supply drop, you knew how busted it was. At number 9, another hot.
Hey, there's my Scar H.
The Black Ops 2 Scar 8.
30-round mag on this thing. One of my favorite guns in COD history. Probably my favorite gun from Black Ops 2, to be honest with you. Loved this thing.
I think this is the best Scar in COD history.
And I would agree.
I do. I think a lot of people slept on it. Iron
Agreed.
sights were clean, super low recoil, moderate fire rate, and damage was through the roof. It was super versatile.
This thing hits so bloody hard. Amazing. Look at those sights right there. Amazing sights. I love the firing sound of this thing. Really cool reload. What else is there to say about this thing? I just wish we got... that still kind of makes me mad that we didn't get a 5.56 conversion for the Scar H in Modern Warfare 2019. Still kind of makes me mad we never got a 5.56 conversion. We still should have had that.
Super strong.
Faster fire rate for lower damage, I would have been all about that.
Despite being overshadowed by other rifles in Black Ops 2, it was top tier. And more than capable of going toe-to-toe with the big boys. And I know some of you are going to argue and say the AN-94 wasn't better than the Scar. No, I don't think it was. At number 8.
I hated
Black
this
Ops
thing.
2 M8A1.
Could not stand this thing.
4-round burst in COD history, and a lot of players insist it was the best.
Yeah, I disagree with that
fire
one.
rate, despite being a 4-round.
Was never a fan of the M8A1. I don't know why, I just wasn't. Was not one of my favorite guns in the game. Probably one of my least favorite guns actually in the game. Just never liked it. I don't know why. Just something about it. I just couldn't use it.
Burst, it only needed 3 bullets to connect. Who would have thought? Fast, mobile, consistent, reliable. It was a fan favorite weapon, and I don't think anybody's going to be upset with this one either. I remember, these are all God guns now. At number 7, the Modern Warfare 2019 M4A.
I could do an entire video on why the M4 in this game is wrong. But this, I love this gun. Yeah, no. This is technically speaking a Mark 18 CQBR, but I love this gun. And yes, I will get technical, okay? Don't try me.
A1. It may be the most spam gun in COD history.
Yeah, 100% it is. And I've said this several times to this day. In Warzone, I would rather use really cool campaign loadouts or really cool looking loadouts than meta loadouts. And this is one of the reasons why, too, right here. The M4 was so prevalent in Warzone for the first, 2 months it was out.
On launch day, stayed that way for a long time. Eventually, Infinity Ward nerfed it a bunch of times, but even today, it's still powerful. It's still versatile. It is. It is the best assault rifle in Modern Warfare, and I think it's a top 10 rifle all around. At number 6, now it's going to get spicy.
My ACR.
Modern Warfare 2
yes, sir.
ACR. One of my favorite guns. It's freak of nature. You look at the stats and what.
The AC on paper, the ACR is nothing special. It looks just like a normal AR, but once you handle it, it doesn't have as good damage. But I think the way they balance it is they give it a really, really, really good fire rate and essentially no recoil. If you're in PC, you don't have to move your mouse down to control this thing. You literally just have to look at the dude and just point, click, and hold until he's dead. This thing is so good. One of my favorite guns in COD history.
Wasn't anything special, but once you played with it, you knew it. The damage.
And I think the closest we're gonna get to a ACR in modern Call of Duties is the Kilo 141. Also,
it was low. It needed 4 to 5 shots to kill without stopping power, but I mean, well,
it did not hit very
for
hard.
a game like Modern Warfare 2, but if you threw on stopping power, it became a 2 to 4 shot kill. It was so easy to use. There was no recoil. It was a laser beam, and that ease of use made it one of the
Ooh, I just thought of something. The ACR 6.8 is gonna be on this list somewhere. I wonder where it's gonna be.
popular guns in the game.
And yes, the ACR 6.8 is better than the ACR.
I'm not going to make that definitive statement either way. It was just really, really, really.
It would have been overpowered if it was like a 2 to 4 shot kill by default, but they balanced it out pretty well, I think.
Really good. Now we've reached the top 5. The Black Ops 2 Fallow.
If you put select fire stock and a third attachment of your choice on this thing, this was an absolute monster of a gun. I think it 2-shot at pretty much most ranges except for far ranges, but you're not going to be shooting anyone past that range on Black Ops 2. But I think this is one of the few guns that have actually been banned in comp play. This thing was banned competitive in Black Ops 2.
SW, the gun that was so good that Treyarch flat out banned it from competitive play after releasing it. A semi-auto rifle, killed in 2 bullets, 0 recoil, super fast handling, type hip fire spread. I mean, do I need to say any more? Honestly, it was game-breaking, and despite being a semi-auto, it had no problem keeping up with the big boys of COD history. At number 4, I'm about to get roasted. The Modern Warfare 3 ACR.
There it is.
Now, depending on who...
This is my favorite gun in Modern Warfare 3. This is the only gun I got to go in Modern Warfare 3. I could go on all day about the 6.8. I love this thing.
You ask. It was either really good or completely game-breaking. This gun dominated Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer, and it's
Yeah.
not hard to see why. It fired slower
Zero
than its Modern Warfare
recoil.
2 counterpart, but it hit dramatically harder. It did. It was capable of killing with 2 bullets, which is a rarity in Modern Warfare 2. It also had no recoil, which made it one of the most spammiest guns in the game, alongside being a top-tier weapon. Now, I know you guys are going to come at me and say you can't put the Modern Warfare 3 version over the Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah,
but
you
if you
can.
dig into them, I can and I did. At number 3, the Black Ops 3 FAMAS.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
I don't even know what to say besides we already know it. Sounds like it's spitting hot metal.
Yeah, I would take the AUG over this one, though. I was never the biggest fan of the FAMAS, and I don't know why.
Right? It's an SMG and an AR's body. Control the recoil. It's done. Fired at over 900 rounds per minute. Killed in a maximum of 4 bullets. The recoil was vertical. You could do it. Come on. I don't even need to go in. I don't need to defend myself.
Jesus, that wall bang.
At number 2 today. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Cod 4 M16A4.
This thing's shredded. I could never use this thing. I don't know why. I just got hit markers only, but on MWR, oh my god, this thing was amazing. I don't think we've seen the Cod 4 M16 on this list yet. I wonder if that's going to be number 1.
You knew it was going to be up here. The original OP gun in COD, and the M16 was a 3-round burst. It only needed 2 bullets to connect in order to send your target back
That I
to the
didn't
lobby.
know.
That burst was firing at over 900 rounds per minute, which gave it
Could
one of
never
the
use
best times
this
to kill
thing.
the entire franchise. It was spammed even harder in Modern Warfare Remastered, which gave it even more of a bad reputation. But here it is.
And I don't think we've seen the
And now we've
MWR
reached
version yet.
Number 1 out of 127, and this is the most probably. This is probably the biggest hot take pick I've ever done. But I'm going to
M16
do
from
it.
COD 4,
Are you
MWR.
ready? Do you remember the one gun that has not been mentioned?
The M16 from
The
MWR.
Modern Warfare 2 FAMAS. Yep, hear me out, okay? It was basically
Okay.
the COD 4 M16, but even better thanks to the tweaked fire rate and the addition of more perks and attachments.
Yeah, okay,
This
yeah.
FAMAS, you could drop people in 2 bullets from almost any distance. I mean, you didn't have to move at all. When you
I completely forgot this thing existed, not gonna lie. I never used this thing. Literally never. I may have picked it up once and, like, forgot about it completely. I forgot this was in Modern Warfare 2.
pulled the trigger, and the fire rate was super high for a burst
Did
weapon.
we see the M16 from MWR on this list, or was it in the first part I did? I don't remember seeing it on either part 4 or 5.
It was insane. Not nearly enough people talk about it. Not nearly enough people rank it high enough. So here it is. The best assault rifle in COD history. Let me know where you agree. Let me know where you disagree. Thank you for coming along on the journey. Let me know what ranking...
The only guns I think would have ranked higher were the the Val and the No, I think the Val's the only gun I would have ranked higher. But other than that, yeah, I completely agree with the list. And that is going to be the end of that video, and as such, the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and maybe drop a subscription to the channel. It's always free, and you're always free to make your decision. So, yeah. Until next time, guys, I will see you later. Firebrand out.